The first and probably most important question that you guys asked was, what does Will Arnett smell like?
Will Arnett smells like GMC trucks and Reese's Pieces.
Man, he smells like sardines.
Smells like exactly this.
He smells like Lego Master awesomeness.
Well, he smells like Batman.
Will Arnett smells like a combination of Molson and maple syrup. Audrey, you did not like that joke. You can leave.
It's just like, aha, Canada joke, LOL.
So today I'm with equally TV famous Audrey Schilling, who actually was in the finale of Lego Masters, one of the few people who made it. So pretty awesome. Audrey's going to be asking the questions that you posed to me in the last few weeks over Reddit and YouTube. I know there's a lot of questions to get through, and I've not even read them all, so I know I'm in for a few surprises today. Without further ado, Audrey, I would like you to read the first question, which unfortunately I know.
What does Will Arnett smell like?
Quite frankly, I wasn't prioritizing that. My brother tells a funny story that one of the first things one of his friends on Hypixel asked him was actually this very question. A lot of people are dying to know this. This is the most upvoted question on Reddit. What does Will Arnett smell like? Let's see if we can find an answer.
So on the first hours of the first day, this set smells like sawdust because they've just completed constructing it. Now, what's interesting is because of the COVID protocols, our set had a gigantic air filtration system with the big HEPA filters and was constantly circulating the air up and out. And because of that, the set smelled like nothing. But even on the risers, we couldn't smell each other, or at least I couldn't. And when they used explosives in the explosive episode, the explosive went off, and then you saw a little bit of the smoke, and then it just went up in the air and was gone. So what's really crazy about that set is Will Arnett did not have a smell, nor did any of us, because of that upgraded HEPA filtration system. So unfortunately, we're going to have to ask the cast of season 1, what does Will Arnett smell like? Because we could not smell anything, and it was really disturbing to not smell anything for that long.
What build were you and your brother proudest of? And were there any builds of the other contestants that made you say, that's a fantastic idea, wish I would have thought of it?
Jacob and I love our castle. I don't think that's any secret. That was just from beginning to end. Love that thing. So happy with how it turned out. There were definitely some instances like, oh man, wish I could have done that. The hat episode was definitely the biggest one where I looked around at pretty much everyone's hat and thought like, wow, man, a better idea than building a table on top of our heads.
First episode, I had the dragon going up to my left and I had the pizza and hot dog going up to my right. So I had Dave Richard to my right and I had Wayne and Zack to my left. And I was thinking, oh, we are in so much trouble. But to immediately see the motion going up for those dragons, that was like, okay, that's it. Yeah, that one's amazing.
Time for you to pick favorites.
Oh, jeez.
Which build from this season from any team was your favorite?
Michelle and Natalie's hat. Easy.
Really?
It was so good. That was like, I still believe the most definitive win of the season.
Natalie and Michelle's first build. I believe that was super underrated because I remember seeing it and thinking that it was like, this has really got the feel of what like a paint studio would be. Like I could easily go over there, pick up the cans of paint and everything and start like decorating a room immediately. And the use of like the chains, like the clear, like transparent green chains as paint off the top of the spinning can. Oh, I don't know. That's stuck in my head and I will always love that build.
For me, the finale, the winning build. You know, there's a lot of finale builds out there now from across the world. That one is just unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable.
Honestly, it would have to be probably Mark and Steven's episode 1 build. It was the water work was insane. And on the other end, Zack and Wayne's technical build was showing us what the competition was going to be like in the future.
I really love Natalie and Michelle's hat. It's something that you never have seen anywhere else. You're never going to see it again. It's one of a kind. It's incredible.
Now, there is an answer to this. I'm not just saying this because he asked us to be in his video, but it's actually Caleb and Jacob's castle build from episode 11, Off the Wall. I really enjoyed the color choices that they had in the castle. I really enjoyed like the crowning techniques that they use in the colors, like the white.
Caleb and Jacob's castle. I like, there was something about that combination of the dark red and the yellow. Is that what you?
Orange.
Orange.
Dark
Maria.
orange.
Oh no, he is
like, why
chilly.
Someone's not watching Cheesy Studios.
Yes, Caleb and Jacob's castle build was like incredible. So one of my other favorite builds was Dave and Richard's float build. We got to work next to them during that first episode, which, you know, just is like so special in so many ways anyways. And then to like look over and like see it come to life, it was amazing. And it was just like fun to work next to them.
It is really close between your castle in episode 11 and your Chameleopster in episode 9. Because like I love building animals, and seeing you guys just like knock it out of the park with both of those animals and combine them was insane. The technique you used for the mouth and the face curvature on the chameleon was just like A+. So I really liked it.
What was your favorite of these strength-based challenges?
Moro and I had a thumb wrestle, which I won. That was good.
Strength.
That's right.
He didn't win.
The tower was great. I don't think we got enough credit. Aesthetic was way too important.
I actually liked the hanging brick strength challenge. And it was a matter of strength, because if you built the Lego in such a way that the center of gravity was so far below the hanging brick, then that thing would fall down and you'd have like, you know, I say this with love, you'd have an Aaron moment. No, he came back, but I'm just saying, nobody wants to have anything like that happen on a national TV show.
The one I was most excited about the strength aspect of was the floating brick, the one hanging brick challenge, because I knew what we would be able to do with that one. It was pretty straightforward and pretty easy, and I liked that one. It was just so open-ended.
Hey, my favorite build of ours was our tower, because I did not expect it to perform as well as it did.
So of all the challenges that involve strength, which one would I have loved to do the most? Because I wasn't there anymore. One hanging brick is something, and I've made my own mock using one hanging brick. That's how much I love that challenge. As far as the ones I participated in, yeah, I'll say the core and the structure of the shake challenge. I would say the rest of it was just, oh my gosh, that was super embarrassing. But it made it to the structure made it to 11, so that could be celebrated.
The floating island challenge. Yeah, one hanging brick would definitely be it wasn't even too much of a challenge. It was really just enjoyable to do.
Next question is, if you could have any of your builds shrunken down into an official Lego set available for purchase, which one would it be?
I think the Chameleopster is incredibly marketable. I mean, baby Chameleopster, like $10, it's gonna be flying off the shelves.
It was pretty choice.
I would also have to say the Chameleopster I killed, because it could practically be made into a set. Another one, I guess, could be our classic sunshine wagon.
Oh, the hat.
The hat would be easy. It'd just be a loose box of 20 pieces you just throw on the floor.
Too soon.
Too much.
My favorite build from the show was our hanging brick one with the turtle in the lighthouse. And I think that would be a super cool set.
I don't think a lot of the stuff in the challenges translate well to a set, but I would think that maybe shrinking down the robots that we built would be a good standalone, either one robot or a second robot.
Be fine.
I could see how that could be converted into a set with the cute 50s wind-up toy kind of look to it.
I'm gonna say the hot air balloon. Yeah, I'm gonna say the hot air balloon. I know Lego has a whole bunch of these already, kind of like with the friend sets and stuff like that, but not a hot air balloon in that way, and that's what I probably would choose.
I think I'm gonna say if I could have one of mine, it would maybe be the circus build, but just parts of it. I just really like the popcorn machine.
I kind of already answered this question for myself, because I've built mini versions of them, and I've rebuilt the DJ Treats puppet, and it works so much better at a smaller scale where it's not as heavy. that on a bigger scale. And the secondary puppet that we were going to make if we didn't make DJ Treats was Mean Teacher. So now there is a Mean Teacher and a DJ Treats that go together.
I really like the Phoenix hat, and I would want Lego to make some kind of like Harry Potter-esque hat, you know, that's like a wizard hat and has a phoenix bursting out of the top. Like that would be pretty awesome.
Are contestants from the show friends IRL after taping ends?
No, we hate each other. Next question.
Absolutely, because we message ourselves every day with dank memes that are usually Lego related, sometimes not. And, you know, catching up on life. And I'm sure, you know, it'll wind down over time. But after you go through something like this, yeah, I mean, you're, people call it a family. It's not as intimate as a family you see every day. But I call my Lego masters that I'm in touch with pretty often, I call them brick brothers or brick sisters.
Yeah, I would say, yeah. I mean, I've met like Brian and Lauren at Disney. So I mean, can you get any more friends than that? And I mean, when we all went to like Utah, I really didn't care that much about the convention. I just wanted to hang out with everybody.
Well, I would say that most of us are friends, although, you know, sometimes like you invite somebody on your Instagram live chat and they like come and it's really nice and they talk about their wedding, and then like the person who you know even better like never even invites you on their YouTube videos that they're making about Lego Masters, and you have to like beg to come on and talk about it. And so maybe the term more is frenemy than friend. Was that the answer you were looking for? Great.
Yes, all 20 of us are friends. Notice how I said 20. There's 2 people that are not listed. Those would be Mark and Steven. Actually, no, all 24 of the cast. We're all good friends. There's a group chat of all 24 of us, and it's very active, coordinating conventions, future activities, just sharing Lego thoughts, random things, wishing each other happy birthday, anything like that.
What is your favorite breakfast?
Waffle House from the South. That's the basic answer. Comes standard like Annie like breaks. I'm sorry. Hash browns, scrambled eggs with cheese, regular waffle, grits, tomatoes, you know, because I like to keep it spicy, and either bacon or sausage.
So there's this restaurant in town that my sister found here in Sacramento. It's called Bacon and Butter. Oh my gosh, you should try it. It's a chorizo eggs Benedict. I do not know how they do it, but it's like, this is the closest I'll ever get to saying, like, let me put it this way. I hate California. That thing made me say, like, okay, California's kind of nice.
Did you hear about these chicken biscuits?
Sadly, my favorite breakfast is the Chick-fil-A chicken biscuit sandwich.
Oh no.
Just saying. So it was like blasphemous to have these McDonald's. And I swore off McDonald's like 3 or 4 years ago just because the gut rot it gives you. And yeah.
Yeah. I love, let's see, a Belgian waffle with 2 eggs over easy thrown right on top with some strawberries on the side.
This actually has a Lego story attached to it. It is probably very simple, but I am an oatmeal person, and it all started when I was a little kid, and there was a promise that if you had like 100 bowls of this Quaker oatmeal, you get a single alien minifigure. I ate 100 bowls of oatmeal, and it started a trend, and I got that figure. They sent it to me.
That is so epic.
My favorite breakfast would be the breakfast I had at my wedding, which was a brunch breakfast because brunch is really big in Chicago. And we rented out our favorite restaurant, and it was one of the most delicious cheeseburgers you've ever had. You have some Gruyere, you have some arugula, like a bacon jam, and a brioche bun, and then I don't know really how, it's like a kind of like a round giant potato ball, deep fried. It's so delicious.
Mine's very simple. It's biscuits and sausage gravy. Not fancy at all. Because my other favorite breakfast is Mickey waffles, because that means you're at Disney when you're eating those. So
Solid
that's another
answer.
thing.
What is your all-time favorite Lego set?
My favorite set of all time is easily 4757 Hogwarts Castle. It's the 2004 Prisoner of Azkaban Hogwarts. It's got the clock tower, the moving pendulum. A lot of nostalgia up there. I mean, it's such a great set.
Trolls Mountain Fortress.
Lego MTT, the second version.
My all-time favorite is the Attack of the Clones Jango Fett color Lego Slave One.
Original Harry Potter castle, Hogwarts castle from 2001.
Galaxy Explorer, the first flagship set from the classic space theme. And I was a young child and my brother got that for Christmas and I was the most jelly kid in the entire world.
Easy answer. Model Team Giant Truck from 1996. It's black and red. I cherished that set for decades. Favorite set of all time. I don't have it anymore. If you have it, I'd love to talk to you about acquiring it from you.
Have to be 2004 Lego City Fire Truck. It is the longest lasting intact set, or at least half of it. The trailer part's not that Caleb and I have in our collection.
Favorite one that I have like displayed right now is going to probably be the Disney Castle or the Nintendo, but the Disney Castle is it's just so pretty. But I'm most excited, I think, about the collector's Harry Potter thing.
Blacktron Message Interceptor Base, a classic set.
Were there a lot of back jokes coming from / directed at Will that weren't allowed into broadcast due to rights issues?
There were a lot of references thrown around to various things. Arrested Development, BoJack, but especially Blades of Glory. All the production crew loved Blades of Glory. And honestly, that was my only impression of Will going into the show. That was the only Will thing I had seen, besides the Lego movie and the Lego Batman movie, is Blades of Glory. So yeah, all that got caught. It was so sad.
What was your favorite funny thing that Will did?
Favorite funny thing that Will did that I can talk about?
I can't give the exact reference because a lot of what Will did that was absolutely hysterical was not family friendly.
So sad that a lot of the best Will jokes did not make it on camera.
Ooh, how off camera can we get?
The funny thing is when he said this particular line, he actually changed it to make it family friendly, which is part of what made it so funny. But we were talking about superheroes.
It was on the explosion episode.
It was on the explosion episode. We were talking about like superheroes.
Like, what would his superpower be?
And what their superpowers would be. And I suggested he could be a magician because he was a magician when he was on Arrested Development. Although he said it's not a magician, it's an illusionist.
So to which I said, yeah, don't you do tricks already?
And then he goes, a trick is something a goat does for money.
No, probably the best thing was when Will was with Billy Puppet and they were both trying to one-up each other with who could give Lauren and I the best gift for after we're on the show. They were like both like one-upping each other. Will started off with like, I'll take you out to dinner. Billy Puppet was like, I'll get you a private jet. Will came in, he's like, I'll get you a private jet and your own island. And then they just kept one-upping each other. And we ended up getting a full round trip to Hawaii, all expenses paid, full meal, and our own Lego room on Hawaii. And Billy Puppet is paying for it all.
Believe it or not, actually, it was the pun that he shared during the hanging brick challenge when he said, how's it hanging? We gave him some, some shine back and forth, some banter. That was pretty funny. And I figured in the moment as we were answering his puns flawlessly, I was like, yeah, that got to make it to the cut.
Did you invite Will Arnett to your wedding?
Did you try to get me to invite him?
I tried to get you to invite him, and you're like, no, he's not gonna answer.
So Will Arnett was not at the wedding, but Dave was, and that was even better.
All right, if you could do any of the challenges over, which one
Hat
would
challenge.
Are you sure that's the answer? Because I think the people want a different one.
Jacob and I like to call ourselves the most volatile team on LEGO Masters because when we failed, we made sure to fail hard. And I would change something on every build. Let's go down the line. Parade float, too messy. Hero shot, too clean. Make and shake, was a piece of trash. A very smart piece of trash, but still a piece of trash. Our hat weighed 50 pounds. Our floating islands were perfect. The sunshine wagon was a little messy, not gonna lie. That's why we rebuilt it. For our windmill, we needed more moving parts. Episode 8, everything would change. This is where I'm gonna have like a slow zoom in on like Samantha's like crazy eyes. Episode 9 was another perfect one, actually. Episode 10, a lot would change with the movement. Episode 11 was perfect. Finale would keep the concept, but not do the day and night halves. Would focus on some other duality rather than taking the prompts so literally. There you go. That's everything. So yes, there's a number of episodes that could use some redoing, but I would never change the outcome of episode 6.
Oh boy! I definitely would have done the hero shot challenge differently. I think us drawing the centaur, we were kind of already under the gun with Sarita knowing negative 48 things about centaurs. What I would have done was, instead of running from my knowledge about Greek architecture, would have leaned into that. Probably would have built some Greek architecture behind the centaur and had a cyclops giant kind of reaching out over like the rooftops, and then had his head explode and had a couple other buildings explode. I think about that all the time. Feel free to troll me about the centaur, please.
Challenge I would probably do over would be the Make and Shake challenge. That was a very rough challenge for us, and by far our ugliest build. We should have made the shake plate a little faster, and also focused on the build, because it was hideous. Can't deny that.
And a lot of people would assume the challenge that I would want to redo would be the last challenge. And yes, that's part of it. But I think if I were to redo a challenge, it would be the very first one. Because we did not go into that challenge, like we try to represent ourselves, but we did it in a way that, like, yes, story time with kids is really important, but we look back on it and we're like, why didn't we build like a castle or something fantasy based that we truly really love and like really could have poured our hearts into? So I don't hate any of the builds we did for the show, but that's the one I like the least amount.
You know, as I say, the hat I think in itself was not bad. Certainly we would do the I think the snake part, and you know, getting that all to fit right and hold together. Just honestly, it wasn't really a technical issue that, as far as I'm concerned, I know Moto would disagree with this, but I don't think it was a technical issue with the build. But for me, it was really about the reason I would do that over is because I just would like to. I don't think I would definitely. Let me think. Just looking at some of the other builds, just take it more safe from an engineering standpoint, from a technical standpoint. Just because, especially at that stage in the competition, you want to. You just gotta make sure you're not at the bottom.
What was your favorite Lego theme as a child? And I'm gonna tack this one on. What's your favorite Lego theme as an adult? Have they changed, or are they just Harry Potter?
It's probably just Harry Potter, but I want to throw in a few honorable mentions here because there's two other themes that really, really stand out to me. Mars Mission was huge, as well as Power Miners. Jacob and I adored Power Miners. I still love Power Miners. The rock monsters are probably the most adorable villains that the LEGO group has ever made.
Iconic, truly.
There's a few good themes that would be my favorite. Power Miners comes to mind. Exoforce as well. And even some of those like Aqua Raider sets with just the cool sea creatures.
Is there a build challenge that you didn't do that you would consider the challenge of your dreams? And is there a challenge that sounds like the worst possible thing you could be asked to do?
I gotta pull up Moto's sheet of all challenges ever on LEGO Masters. I've always said cut in half from season 1 would have been a fun one, I think, for us. I think I really would have liked the bridge challenge too, actually. I think Jacob and I would have done well at that.
Really?
Yeah. Well, if it had come late enough in the season. Oh yeah, the movie genre one. I just watched that episode.
Oh really?
And I think we would have sucked at that one actually. The Star Wars droid one actually scared me a lot too.
Really?
I don't know if we could make something cute that would also move. Yeah.
Which team intimidated you most from the start?
Mark and Steven.
Was it because of their build or because of reputation?
Reputation, right. So I found out pretty early on who Mark and Steven were, and I still remember my reaction. It's like, oh, it's you guys. And I knew right then that they were going to win the show, and then they did.
I think skill-wise, I knew, and I told them this. So I was van mates. I was in van 2 with Mark and Steven. And they would always be self-criticizing, and they do that to kind of is an improvement effort. But I kept telling them, you're I understand you're going through these criticisms so you can be better the next time. But I have to understand that you guys are probably one of the most skilled speed builders, competitive speed builders I've ever seen. Because mock building and competitive speed building are 2 different things. But those guys had it in spades. The way they were able to shape everything so darn quick, and then finish it with either slopes or tiles to hide all the studs and finish stuff off. Absolutely incredible. And I kept complimenting them. I thought they were an incredibly strong team from the very beginning. And, told them that until I went home.
Were there any details or techniques in builds that you are particularly proud of, maybe even think is some of your best work?
Jacob and I loved our use of tires, our very innovative use of tires. So actually, obviously, everyone knows about the make and shake one, but our other use of tires was in the following episode, in episode 4, the Hat Challenge. We actually used tires to absorb the shock of the goodie tray moving back and forth, right? So that's how it gets this natural ease in, ease out at the end. It didn't slam against hard plastic and have parts fly everywhere. It's actually hitting up against tires, and I thought that was actually a really clever use to get a super organic natural motion. We had thought about just using power functions, powered up, excuse me, to just have the thing go back and forth. But this was so much better that it reacted to its every motion. So that was a pretty cool original parts use.
I enjoyed the lettering that I did for the first build, where we spray painted the L and the M to illustrate the element of graffiti for the 4 elements of hip hop. That I enjoy particularly using Lego math to craft a lot of the things that I make, and understanding 5 plates is the same as two studs wide brick or plate. Then it really allowed for some shapes to be accomplished in the lettering that I was really proud of.
I loved adding stupid things to our builds. For example, the first one, that when we started really doing stupid things, is right when the rivalry between Mark and Steven and us kicked off. So Mark and Steven were doing their gnome floating island. There was a lot of accusations of copying going around. So obviously I had to play into those accusations, and I built the miniature garden gnome on the top of our floating islands as a subtle nod, not explicitly copying, just a subtle nod to our rivals Mark and Steven.
Were there any builds after you broke for a day that you ended up changing your mind, or parts of the build changed?
I can't remember which build it was, but there was one that I came back the next day and I instantly changed something. And I can't remember what it was. I came in, I was ready to go. I can't remember what it was, but yes.
Were you somewhat prepared for some of the specific challenge that were repeats from other seasons?
Yes, because Moto was talking about some of the things that had happened in Australia that we should be ready for. The water challenge came up a lot, and obviously that never happened, but I believe Moto forewarned us about the one hanging brick, and that did come to pass.
What licensed theme would you have liked to be a challenge this season?
I mean, Fox obviously doesn't own the rights to Harry Potter, but I wanted a Harry Potter challenge anyway. We were pretty convinced we were gonna get a Marvel challenge, and it never happened. So that was kind of weird.
Based on my research, I was expecting Marvel Studios.
What are your thoughts on Jacob's mad skills after a decade-long Dark Ages?
I'm so sad they cut this part because I had legitimately not seen his lobster build until we came around the corner for the first time, right? And I saw his lobster and I was blown away because I thought whatever he was going to build was not going to be the best, right? Because this guy had not built in so dang long. But I was convinced that his lobster was the best build in the Land and Sea Challenge, or the first half of it anyway. And yeah, it's super sus. Mans can build.
How was all the lighting done in the final challenge?
So for the lighting in the finale, we used primarily third-party Lego-compatible lighting kits. Just a huge variety of them. We're talking about lighting kits for modular buildings, creator sets, standalone lights. There was hundreds of lights to choose from. And we also had some fairy lights, which you see in some of the builds too. So yeah, there was a little bit of everything, but almost none of it was official Lego lights because Lego does not make a whole lot of lights themselves.
For the finale, did you guys get a chance to test or evaluate your models in the dark while you were working on them?
Yes, we did. There were, I don't know how many times, but there were planned times at like this hour mark, we're gonna dim the lights so you can see what they look like in the dark. So yeah, we did get a few times to do that. Yeah.
I had heard somewhere that the finale was filmed 3 times where different winners were announced. So no spoilers could be leaked, and contestants didn't know if they'd won until seeing the episode aired. Was that the case for your season?
No, that definitely wasn't, but that's what I told everybody after they figured out I made it to the finale. It was like, I don't know who wins. It was like, we filmed 3 separate endings, and we're gonna find out at the same time as you, and that wasn't the case. The hardest thing was, just keeping people from figuring out the answers. So I was like, that got them off the scent a little bit, so that was much needed.
Had you already decided on doing an hourglass before filming of the episode? Did Mark and Steven already have their plan, and did Zack and Wayne already have their plan as well?
Jacob and I had watched the finale of season 1 the night before we started shooting our finale. That was the night that we kind of figured out a plan. I know Mark and Steven went in with the plan probably day 1 of the show. They probably had a plan after season 1 finished airing. I don't know about Zack and Wayne. I feel like they were more like us probably the night before they came up with some sort of idea. So it really varied. I'm sure some of the other teams probably had ideas too, just in case. I wish Jacob and I had thought more about it, but I was happy with our concept. I still really liked our concept with the duality of the twins, the 2-in-1. It worked out all right. That was before, I should mention, that we knew that there was going to be the day and night thing. So we kind of had to morph that into our idea, which sucked.
Did you have the idea before? Were you planning on doing like just an hourglass, or
yeah,
what was the plan before?
We were gonna have 2 worlds, but they weren't gonna be day and night themed, and that's when that prompt came. We felt the need to do that, and I wish we hadn't.
Gotcha. I don't know what this one is. What was on Zack and Wayne's mysterious 5th floor?
That's a good question for Zack and Wayne. Yeah, so many people on Reddit have asked this, and I hope they actually know the answer to it because they skipped right over it. You never get to see it in the actual show.
The 5th floor. Let me see. Was it the one with the couch? Because there was that time where me and Zach were just like laying down on the couch. That's just a scene of like me and Zach as we got older in life. There were those days right there where we're always bickering about all these other things, right? But that's kind of capturing a moment that we had after we said that we were going to try getting onto Lego Masters. It was one of those like, oh my gosh, Zach, think of all the potential that we can do from here, right? It's kind of one of those like what the ground zero moments. When was the moment that we think that we were going to do something interesting together? That kind of captured that moment for us, saying that, hey, me and Zach on TV, let's see how far we go.
So that's going to be all for this part 1 There were just so many questions and so many responses, I couldn't possibly smash it all into one video. So we got lots more on the way yet. Thank you as always for watching. I'm excited to get more of my castmates back on for the second part of this video with some even crazier stories perhaps. So we will see you then.